Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Clawy Variety Show. I am your non-standard host, Clawy, and today we're going to be doing a compare and contrast of my new and old paws. Now, as you may have noticed in the previous video, yeah, I got new paws. Both sets were made by More for Less. One is the standard indoor, and the other is their outdoor deluxe, which is new actually. Maybe about half a year old, or it's been half a year since they started doing these. So we're going to look through and compare and contrast the features and such of my old and new paws. Now, cosmetics will not be a factor in this video because I've had these paws for about 2 years, a little over 2 years, and the sandals that go with them for, I believe, 2 years as of me recording this compare and contrast video. And there might be a little bit of matting where the sandal straps go. Not too much from the look of it, but cosmetics will not be a factor here. Starting with the length. These are definitely a lot longer than my new paws. By about maybe an inch and a half from the looks of it. I'm just eyeballing it. I don't know. I haven't measured it exactly yet. But old paws are a lot longer than my new paws. However, the width seems to be about the same when you look at it. Or at least when I look at it, the width is very similar, if not the same. As far as the paw pads go, as I said before, standard indoor, outdoor deluxe. With the standard indoor, that allowed my Clawy's actual paw pattern to be stitched and sewed together for a lovely, pretty exact replication of her paws on the ref sheet that I sent to More for Less. All those years ago. Versus the Outdoor Deluxe, which have the paw detail as opposed to the standard mats that would maybe go at the bottom of a foot paw, but you can walk outside with them. Because again, More for Less has been doing this for, I believe, half a year, maybe a year at this point. I don't know. I'm bad at telling time. The shoe build. Both of the interiors of these paws are actually built on regular shoes. However, my old paws are built on regular Skechers tennis shoes, whereas my new paws are built on tennis shoes that have Dr. Scholl's insoles built into them. For those who don't know, I have to wear Dr. Scholl's insoles with any and every pair of shoe, or in this case feet paw, that I own because I had a prior injury, etc. blah. That's a story for another day. But with the old ones, they built both of my feet paws in mind with that, so that with my old ones I could put my actual insoles in them, and then with these, they're already built in, ready to go. I could just jump in and run, or not run because I'd probably fall flat on my face. The claws, as you can see, they're more of a gray color on my old feet paws, but they're built of, I believe, molded and polished clay. It looks very much like molded clay here. And then my new claws are black, which actually match my ref a little bit more, but they're also built on polished and molded clay. See, as a somewhat segue into this next category, these claws are actually built into the paws, where there's polyfill like underneath all the fabric and whatnot, versus my new ones, which are actually built into the foam or expanding foam that they now use. And they come through the fur, but they're more than likely glued to the foam inside, and then they adjusted the fur for the claws to come out. Again, with the interior, they're built with expanding foam. They now use molds of foam to build their paws, or depending on what the customer wants. And it's squishy, but it's durable. Versus the old paws, where they were a measured and cut pattern and filled with this lovely substance called polyfill. So you now know what Clawy is made of. Nothing but polyfill. And maybe a little human inside, we don't know. The top detail on my older paws, it's there, but you have to look carefully to find the fine line where one toe ends and one toe begins, or the other toe begins. Versus the new paws, where because of the foam, it's a lot easier to see where one toe ends and one toe begins. The line is a lot easier to see. Again, you can kind of see it on the old paw, but it's not that finely tuned. Again, with the bottom detail, it has Clawy's foot paw pattern with the little bits of white connecting in between each part of the paw pad, versus the new paws, which is entirely pink. The top lining of my old paws is more than likely made of fabric placed over top the edge of the, I'm getting fur in my mouth, edge of the foot paw to prevent fraying and matting over the top when you put the leg sleeve on, versus the new ones, which look to be made of a layer of foam or foam fabric instead of just fabric. Now this one is probably just me fishing for things to compare and contrast, but the angle at which the bottom of the leg connects to the top of the foot is, well, about, I don't know, you mathematicians, if you got a protractor, you can figure this out. But my guess is that it's greater than 90 degrees, but less than 150 degrees. A thing to point out is that because it slopes back like this, it's very easy for the back part of my foot paw to be seen when I'm out and about in a suit, because it'll occasionally slip down or whatnot if I've been actively suiting. Versus the new feet paws, which look to be at right angle. If you got your protractor out, you might want to go ahead and measure it now. Pause the video, measure it, put it in the comments. I'm kidding, don't do that. You don't have to. Only if you really love your math that much will I permit you to do that. But from these, I don't believe they'll be slipping down as much when the leg sleeve is placed on top, because they're not at an angle. Well, at an obtuse angle. Correct one? I believe it's an obtuse angle greater than 90, but less than 180. It's a right angle. Weight. Due to the polyfill, I'm more likely to be able to juggle my old paws than my new paws. Don't try this at home, kids. Actually, just don't do it at all. It's not safe. You gotta protect your paws. Protect them! But as I showed earlier, the paws are filled with polyfill, as opposed to the new paws, which are, again, over a an expanding foam cast. I'm not pulling the foam out for you guys. You're just gonna have to believe me on that one. I'm not tearing apart my new paws. Probably another minuscule thing to compare is the height of the claw. It's important to note that the bottom of these actually are not flat. It kind of slopes or rocks when I walk. Therefore, when I'm walking in these and even in the sandals, you can hear the claws click everywhere I go, which probably annoys some people, but it's my claws, deal with it. Versus the new ones, they look to be built higher up, and even if, like, say, I tilt my foot downward, they don't look or seem to be as likely to click against the ground when I walk. So, these have a higher claw build versus these, which might be just a teeny bit lower, because all this right here is just loose fur. So it's very easy for these to click against the ground when I walk. And segueing into that, the slope. Again, it's more rounded than the new paws, which are flat due to the build. And that's all I have to say comparing and contrasting my old and new paws. Now, this does not mean that I'm getting rid of my old paws just because I got new paws. Quite the opposite, in fact. My new paws I'm actually going to be wearing more frequently in my Clawy Variety Show videos, due to the fact that my new setup requires me to be sitting a lot more than what it used to. So, I'm not getting rid of them. These you'll definitely see more at cons than me wearing them at home. But these have a special place in my heart because they were my first feet paws, because they came with my suit. They're as old as my suit. And I am not one to get rid of parts of my suit unless they are entirely falling apart. Which, as long as you take care of them, they're not going to fall apart. I promise you that. These paws have been all across the South and back. They haven't fallen apart yet. Just as well, I will be wearing them, say if I go do a public suiting outing. I'll be wearing these with the sandals as opposed to these, simply because I've had them longer and they've done fine so far. I think they'll be fine for my public suiting shenanigans. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, keep those paws tuned in.